Hi students, how are you? Hope everybody is safe and okay. Are you ready for another video? So today we will practice our vocabulary some more. And today I thought it would be fun to look at vocabulary opposites. So we will look at some of the vocabulary words that have to do with finances, shopping, and spending. And then after that, we will read a story and discuss the story. When we look at the vocabulary opposites, there are some words that are not vocabulary words from the unit, but they are words that I think are important, and many of the words I think you will already know. So let's get ready to begin. My question today is, have you ever wanted something you couldn't afford? Have you ever wanted to buy something that you couldn't afford? And if so, what was it? So I will give you a hint that we will talk about that in the story. The person in our story wants to buy something that maybe they can't afford. Okay, are you ready to begin? Let's start. So here we have two words. Both words start with the letter S. Please say these words with me. The first word is spend. The first word is spend, and the second word is save. These two words are opposites. To spend means to use your money. If you go to a store, you spend money on something. The opposite of spending money is saving money. If you keep your money and you don't buy anything, then you save money. So we have spend and we have save. Okay, let's look at the next set of words. The next set of words is actually two words in this example. So the first one says, a customer buys. We see the woman there. It looks like she is at a grocery store. It actually looks like maybe she is buying canned goods or formula. I can't tell. But she is shopping at the grocery store. She is a customer at the grocery store. A customer buys things. When they buy things, they are spending their money. The person on the other side is a salesperson. A salesperson sells things. A salesperson sells things to the customer. So he is a salesperson, and it looks like he works at a furniture store. So a customer buys and a salesperson sells. Here are two options that we have for how to spend money. You can pay for something with cash. If you pay for something with cash, you are paying for it now. Or you can pay for something with credit. If you pay for something with credit, that means you are buying it now, but you will pay for it later. So you can use cash and pay for it now, or you can use credit and pay for it later. Here we have credit cards. A credit card is given to you and you can use it at a store. Another way to pay for something on credit is to finance it with a loan from a bank. So those are two different types of credit. You can use a credit card, but usually a credit card is for smaller purchases. Or you can pay for it on credit by getting a loan from a bank, and that is for bigger purchases. When we say we finance something, that is usually for those bigger purchases when you get a loan from the bank. Our next set of words are cheap and expensive. I know many of you know these words. When something is cheap, it does not cost a lot. When something is cheap, it does not cost a lot. When something is expensive, that means it's a lot of money. When something is expensive, it means it's a lot of money. So you can purchase things purchase means buy. You can buy things and you can describe those things as either cheap or expensive. Next, we have afford and can't afford. Now, if something is expensive, that might mean it is too much money and you can't afford it. If something is cheap, well then maybe you can afford it. Afford means I have enough money. Can't afford means I don't have enough money. Our last set of words are lend or loan and borrow. These words can be very hard to understand in English. To lend means to give to. Okay, when we lend something, we give something to someone. But when we lend something, it only means we are giving it to that person for a short amount of time. We want to get it back. When we borrow something, it means we are getting something. We are taking something. And again, you are only taking it for a short amount of time, not forever. So when you lend, you give to somebody for just a bit of time. And when you borrow, you take from somebody for just a little bit of time. So remember, we lend to and we borrow from. Lend to, borrow from. Okay? So lend and borrow. Another way to say lend is to loan. We will use both of those words. Okay? To loan somebody something means the same thing as to lend somebody something. You are giving it to somebody for a short amount of time. When you need a loan from the bank, you are asking them to lend or to loan you money for a period of time. Now, if you have a very big loan, like a house, that can be 30 years you have to pay that loan back. Sometimes, if you are trying to just borrow a small amount of money, you might only have that loan for 6 months or a year. But to loan or to lend means to give to borrow means to take from. Now we are going to spend some time reading a story together. I will say the words, but I want you to read along with me. When we are done with the story, we will discuss it. So I hope you enjoy this story. It is funny, and it is a good lesson on whether or not we should spend or save. A big wedding. Fiona Duffy and Mike McFadden are getting married in June. They are happy. They love each other very much. Fiona and Mike want a big wedding. They have a very big guest list. They want to invite 300 people. They plan to have an expensive party in a hotel. They want a band to play their favorite music. Fiona wants to wear a large diamond ring on her finger. She doesn't like the small ones. Fiona sees a beautiful white wedding dress in a store window. It costs $2,000. Fiona thinks, that is the perfect dress for me. After the wedding, Mike and Fiona want a 2-week honeymoon in Hawaii. Fiona's father, Frank, says, "You are crazy. I don't have much money. Have a small wedding. It's much cheaper." "Oh, Dad," says Fiona, "we want a big wedding, and we don't need your money. Mike and I have credit cards." "No," says Frank, "that is not a good idea. You need money to pay the credit card bill." "I can think about that tomorrow, says Fiona. Right now, I have a big wedding to plan. Did you like the story? I hope so. We are going to discuss the story, and at the end, we will talk a little bit about credit card debt. So, my first question to you is, who is getting married in this story? Who is getting married? Look back at the story and tell me, who is getting married? Fiona Duffy and Mike McFadden. Is that what you said? Yes, Fiona Duffy and Mike McFadden are getting married in the story. And when are Fiona and Mike getting married? My first question was a who question. That's about people. Now my question is a when question. When are Fiona and Mike getting married? Fiona and Mike are getting married in June. Okay? In the United States, June is a very popular time to get married. Many people get married in June. When did you get married? I got married in July, but many people in the United States get married in June. What kind of wedding do Fiona and Mike want to have? What kind of wedding do they want to have? Do they want to have a small wedding? No, they want to have a big wedding. They say they are going to invite 300 people. In the United States, inviting 300 people, that is a pretty big wedding. They also say it will be an expensive party. So Fiona is dreaming about having a big wedding. They are going to have great music. They are going to invite a lot of people. And when Fiona goes out shopping one day, she sees something in a store window. What does she see? What does she see? That's right, she sees a wedding dress. And how much does that wedding dress cost? $2,000. That is an expensive dress, okay? I wonder how Fiona is going to pay for all of this. What does Fiona want to do after the wedding? After the wedding, she wants to go on a honeymoon with Mike. They want to go to Hawaii for 2 weeks. Do you know the word honeymoon? A honeymoon is a trip that a husband and wife take right after they get married. A honeymoon. It's a trip that you take after your wedding. Do they have a honeymoon in your country? Is that a popular tradition? In the United States, many people go on a honeymoon after their wedding. I went on a honeymoon after my wedding. I went to an island in the Caribbean. I had a great time. Fiona tells her plans to her dad. And what does her dad think? Does her dad think that having a big wedding is a good idea? No. The dad says, Fiona, you're crazy. He thinks that they cannot afford a big wedding. But Fiona does not think this is a problem. Why doesn't Fiona think that having an expensive wedding is a problem? She says she can pay for it with her credit cards. And the dad says, but you still have to pay the credit card bill. So the dad understands that paying for something with credit, buying now and paying later, is not always a good idea. But Fiona, she says, I can think about that tomorrow. So I want to know what you think. Do you think that Fiona should have had a smaller wedding that she could afford, like her dad suggested? Or do you think it's okay that she wanted to have her big wedding and pay for it with her credit cards. Have you ever wanted to buy something that you couldn't afford? What did you do? Did you pay for it on credit, or did you wait? Did you buy it at all? We're going to talk some more about buying things on credit and how to make good decisions. We'll look at some other stories later in the unit. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time. Bye.